What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Rodeo Wagon Podcast, brought to you by the Western Edge app and produced by Cosmic Cowboys. We're here with Cole Fischer. What have you been up to?
Just living, man. Trying to stay cool down here in Texas.
Yeah, how long have you been there now? 6 months?
Yeah, since January. So then we bought some land down here. We're in the process of building a house, so trying to get that finished up.
You probably could get into something a little nicer in Texas than where you were at.
Yeah. The land's a little more expensive up
Oh,
down
really?
here.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty
You're in
expensive
Oklahoma.
in Texas. But I don't know. I had some people that offered they wanted to buy my house in Oklahoma, and I was down here in Texas doing rehab, so the opportunity was at hand, so we just jumped on it. So,
Where are you at in Texas?
Bowie, Texas,
With
um, between Decatur and Wichita Falls,
oh, okay.
kind
Hey,
of, you know, kind of northwest of Fort Worth or Fort Worth.
Fort Worth. Yeah. And I saw you've like been doing a couple different things with starting up businesses and stuff. You're washing out trailers. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, we just my little brother, he moved down here with me, and I was bored at the house and just kind of wanting to do something, and he was needing a job, so uh, we've been doing a little bit of power washing. But yeah, I mean, and I've been doing a little bit of training, giving lessons and stuff like that with the bull riding. So
And
kind
how are you doing that? Like with the online, like what online platform are you using to do that?
of I've got a network. Um, right now, I started it. I just started posting stuff, just trying to help out whoever needed to be helped out. But uh, Rodeo Performance Network, um, they, oh, there you are,
Yep.
contacted me, and they were like, "Hey, we're starting this deal, but we don't have a rough stock, coach per se." So, and I was like, well, that's a great opportunity, be able to kind of come in and be able to have, they've got like mental coaches and uh, like physical therapy and coaches for, roping and barrel racing and anything that you really want or need, they've got. So I think it's a pretty neat deal and be able to help people, be able to share my knowledge of I've got it, so I may as well use it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. And do they go through them or can they go to you? Like, how does that work as far as con
Yeah, I've got some people like the North Texas Association. They've got some kids that they just know of me and they just contact me, and I'm not, I try and send everybody through the network. There was a kid the other day that contacted me that wanted to. Um, he said mentally it was his brain, his mental side of his career was holding him back. He said he could ride bulls, and I just that is not something that I am strong with. I'm more of teaching the fundamentals of riding bulls. So I sent him to our mental coach, and they got set up and went that way. So it's not always, they not always, I may not be able to help you, but I know somebody that can.
Yeah, sure.
So
That's such a big
that's
deal too.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because there's always kids that they need help. Like I other than putting a rigging on, I couldn't help you bareback riding. I don't know, but I can send you to the right person.
Yeah.
The right person that'll coach you. That way, you're not wasting your time and uh, learning the wrong deals or wasting your money. So yeah, I don't know, something new. Just keep me busy. So you just
Yeah.
see where it goes.
I think that's a big deal too because you see so many guys that are just like teaching people and they know everything and they're like they know everything and Man,
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, in my career, even in like the teaching part and stuff, like what I knew when I first started versus what I know now is like night and difference. Like the
yeah,
feels, but not all the time would I even feel confident like teaching somebody the feels, like we know when you get to that level and you can ride them bulls, us being bull riders, like they're the feel part of it, and not all the time can you communicate that feel the proper way.
yes.
I can tell
I
you what it feels like to me, and I can explain it how I understand it, but that could be completely wrong in what somebody else would actually take from it.
Yeah, yeah. I've got a couple kids that come over to the house once a week, and they get on the drop barrel, and it's easier for me to say, okay, you're doing this wrong. This do move over here a little more. But the virtual side of it, it's hard. It's a little harder to tell somebody. You can tell somebody you need to, get on your knees, get off your butt, but trying to explain to them how to do that. Like you can tell somebody to do it, but how to do it and showing them through video and virtual is a little bit more of a challenge, but it works. So
Yeah, especially
you're able to help out a lot more kids or a lot more guys that, don't just live by you. So,
that's a good point. Yeah, one thing that like we have an opportunity now that 15 years ago there you
yeah,
just weren't there. Like you couldn't reach that many people, and there really wasn't. You went to schools that were physical schools, and the
yeah.
opportunity to be able to actually help people through whether it's Zoom or whatever platform.
I mean, the first school I went to was 9 hours away from my house. Like that, not everybody has the opportunity to do that, or they may just not be able to get away from the house. So this is uh, a good way of doing it.
Yeah,
So
I did there for a minute. I did coaches I with Gary LeFew. That was
mhm,
when he first started doing that. That was a long time ago.
yeah,
And the first time where I did that, where they could, I could send him my videos, and so he was seeing everything on one of my rides. I think that's a big benefit too, because
yeah,
when you're just there in a school, which is great, you can learn a lot. But it's another deal when you have guys that are going down the road and they're needing to refine things, and to be able to just send it to a coach, and then be able to virtually go through
yeah.
these rides. You kind of get an understanding after watching a guy, 10, 15 times, like what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. You go to a clinic, like a 3-day clinic or over a weekend or something. You try to absorb as much as you can, but then it's up to you to take that what you've learned and take it home. And I'm with you the whole way. Send me your videos. That way, you kind of have somebody along your side saying, and kind of let's work on this a little bit. Don't worry about this so much. I think people start trying to fix things over here when really uh, they need to kind of go back more to the basics, and kind of just reset. Sometimes you don't realize why you're in a slump until you kind of go back to the basics and then go, oh, okay, I was doing this. I didn't even realize it. So you just take it day by day and try to learn everything you can.
I think
Um,
there's accountability when you know that somebody's getting ready to critique your writing.
yeah,
Man, you certainly aren't freaking quitting.
no, I mean, because I don't, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, like I'm going to tell you, hey, you need to get off your ass. You're sitting down, or this or that. Because I mean, what's the point in paying me if you're not going to obtain the knowledge that I'm trying to give you, you
Yeah,
know? So, but you have those clients that kind of come, they just want to learn how to ride bulls because it's fun and it's cool. And then you get those clients that come in and you can really tell that they're giving it everything they've got. Um, so it's you get a little bit of everything, but it's fun. So and it's fun to see somebody show up that doesn't know anything and then see them progress. I've
yeah.
got a kid that showed up, oh, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and I've been working with him, and he's got a workout schedule now, and he comes over once a week, and I go through and critique his videos and stuff, and from when he started to where he is now, it's crazy how much he's progressed, how fast. And I look back at like my career, I'm like, man, if I would have had somebody standing here being able to teach me like this, I would have progressed way faster. So it's good for the sport, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
The Bulls,
definitely.
the Bulls are just getting ranker, and even in the junior classes, like the Bulls are getting better, and can't just get on and expect to ride. It's turned into a sport, an athletic sport, where you got to be more of an athlete than a cowboy, uh, per se, to keep up with getting on these bulls.
And I think
So,
too, a lot of people they focus so much on like career guys, guys that said like, when we started, it was all about like we knew where we were going and we were going to get there, and there was complete dedication. There was no plan B. Like this is what we were doing, and that's great. But man, the majority of rodeo across our country is full of guys that work 40-hour weeks and they ride on the weekend because they love it. And
yeah,
I think that now with the bull power getting where it's getting, and it probably should have been before, but with the bull power, it's maybe even more important, is that these guys get some level of training before they even go in there and do that for their own good. So even a guy that's like, look, I just love doing it and I'm doing it on the weekends, I think can benefit from taking these kind of lessons to, put themselves in the best position, even going to amateur deals.
yeah, yeah. Everybody, shoot. I mean, I've been in it for 10 years now, and I still learn stuff every day. Bulls are unpredictable, man, and you just got to keep adapting to how good they're getting and how ranked they're getting. So,
Yeah, I mean, heck, I just learned stuff earlier this year that freaking completely changed bull riding for me into my hand, just completely,
hmm
And a lot of it's the bull because, like, one thing that I was realizing is, okay, going to amateur deals and you just ride everything, and then the higher level bulls, like how much you have to use your knees and what that looks like into your hand, and actually lifting on your bull ropes,
yeah,
um, something that you know as well as I do that like my career away from my hand has been pretty dominant, but into my hand was a big struggle. So you're just always learning to critique those things,
yeah,
and if you find it, it's about keeping it because at that high level you got to keep it.
yeah, yeah. You gotta. I know when I was coming up in the bull riding, it was always I would focus on like, okay, I need to ride bulls away from my hand. I'm drawing a lot of bulls away from my hand, so I'd learn that. But then I'd start not riding bulls into my hand very good. And then I go back to try and figure that out, and I was like, man, if I could ever just get things to click both ways, things would be great. But and they finally do. I mean, it just all takes getting on a lot of bulls. Uh, you can get on the barrel all day long, but real practice is getting on bulls.
Yeah, 100%. Because I mean, the barrel's great for getting that form down, that no saut when you're riding, but
Yeah.
there's still not a feel that you get. There's a feel from getting on live animals that are bucking, and supplementally the barrels, are awesome. Like if don't get on a treadmill, get on a buck ride. You're a bull rider, that's your treadmill. But
Yeah.
fitness part of it, and I guess the endurance of riding it, great. Able to work muscles out on that barrel that are similar to what you're riding, but getting on bulls and
Mhm.
going consistently is definitely a huge part of it. Especially kids starting up, like you're not gonna the first 100 bulls you get on, you're gonna not know anything. Like the goal is not to get,
Yeah.
it is to get better, but how you get better is just to get on. Like you can't be critiquing your form if you've been on 10 bulls. You need to
Yeah.
get on the bulls.
Yeah. No, you're right. It takes a lot of bulls to. I mean, it takes 100 bulls for you to even realize, okay, for you to realize where you're messing up. Uh, I think before 100 bulls, it's all just kind of, the bulls are usually jerking you around in out of position and just trying to stay in the middle. Um, and then you kind of just start critiquing your form. Um, so
That's
it's a
like
learning. But you're never going to perfect it, and that's what I love about bull riding is you will never perfect bull riding. Even if you're the best in the world, you're going to buck off more bulls than you get on. So, what other sport can you lose more, matches and still become a world champion? Like it just bull riding's that tough.
Hey there, folks. I want to tell you about my favorite cowboy hat brand, Sombrero Brands. As a professional bull rider, I know how important it is to have a hat that not only looks good, but can withstand the toughest rides out there. And that's exactly what Sombrero Brands delivers. Their hats are custom fitted and shaped to perfection, with a level of attention to detail that's hard to find these days. But what really sets Sombrero Brands apart is the fact that they're a family-owned and operated business. Mark and Kendall Holler, the owners, and their daughter Sarah, who's only 13 but already a hat-making prodigy, are all passionate about their craft. They know what it takes to make a cowboy hat that can stand up to anything the rodeo circuit can throw at it. And get this, the founder's grandfather, Polly Holler, was born and raised at South Camp on the 4-6's ranch. These folks have got cowboy blood running through their veins, and it shows in every hat they make. That's why I'm proud to have Sombrero Brands as a major sponsor for my podcast, the Rodeo Wagon Podcast. So if you're in the market for a hat that's tough enough to handle anything the rodeo throws at it, give Sombrero Brands a try. Trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Now they're strapping ranked bulls, so it's kind of crazy where the sport is going.
Yeah, it definitely is in the breeding. I mean, I was talking to Denton, the transformation in the last 10 years in the bull industry is like crazy. And with the bull teams coming on, like now you're getting, bulls that are still really good that are, going to amateur deals. So the amateur deals are getting ranker because even bulls that may not be NFR World Finals caliber bulls still are really good bulls at all of these amateur deals around the house. And now you get guys that before wouldn't have even been part of the industry that are now able to actually go out there and be part of the sport of bull riding, because they can have
Yeah,
4 bulls instead of having to have an entire, herd.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the bull team deal is definitely, um, it's nice now that you can get on a 90 pointer and he feel awesome versus getting on a 90 pointer like back in the day and it was treacherous. Like a 90 pointer, like you're like now you can. I mean, these 90 pointers, like some of them, you can just. I've been on some where you just step off and you're like, dang, that was awesome. Like that was fun. So there's I like these rider team bull deals. These contractors are breeding for, they need consistent bulls that guys are going to stay on consistently. It doesn't do them any good for you to buck off. Uh, I it's better in the sport. It's bringing better bulls, breeding for better. They're not just breeding for the rankest thing out there. You know what I mean? Like just the wildest thing to get on. It's, like back in the PBR, 10 years ago, there was several of them that would jump out 4 or 5 before they turned back, but they were bucking, but that's not very fun to get on.
Well, and
Trying to.
I like how it's even progressed so much. Like when they first started these bull teams, it was like there's a lot of super weak bulls, and you may have been 75 points, and that wasn't really fun either. But now it's gotten competitive. And so now they're starting to push the envelope where you go to these team duels. I got on a team bull earlier this year that had a UTB record of 38-7. So you're getting on these bulls that are bucking, but you should ride them. But they're
Yeah.
still testing you. They're not like people saying, "Oh, rider-friendly bull teams." Well,
Yeah.
it's getting more competitive in the bull industry where they need you to be 87.
Yeah, they're like, you got to be, 88, 90 to be up there, to win it. And that's a good bull ride. So, for you to consistently have to be up there to be in the money that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Man, it's been kind of cool just watching. I know, like me and you kind of went, took the fork in the road and kind of went different ways in like our careers and stuff. But we started at the exact same time. We were completely foreign to this sport. We both came from the outside. We didn't grow up around it.
Yeah.
And it's just been so cool. And like you making the NFR that year and making that run, dude, there was nobody that was more excited for that than me. Like I was so pumped when you did that. Like and I know too how hard you went. In fact, it wasn't just like hard because you were rodeoing. Like there's other guys that make the NFR that talk about like Cole Fisher's schedule and how it's like nuts. So kind of
Yeah.
explain to the people that, what's that's like. What's for Cole Fisher making the NFR, what did that take on traveling and what was that like in that whole build up?
I never, up until maybe towards the end of last year, I never really seen myself as a, show up to San Antonio, win it, show up to Houston, win it, like that guy that's winning them big rodeos all the time. I was always in my career kind of win one here, second, third here, just consistently winning money, but not winning them big rodeos. So I knew that I needed to put more rodeos under my belt than anybody else. And the PRCA, they only let you go to 125 rodeos a year, and I went to 125. On top of all the tough Hedeman bull rides and all the other stuff that you go to throughout the year. So it's a long year, and it's by the grace of God you stay healthy enough to go that long, and go that hard because you get wore down traveling. I did a lot of traveling by myself, long nights, long driving, all night, didn't sleep from the night before, and you got to get on as soon as you get there. And so it's, but it just comes down to how bad do you want it. And, you just got to do what it takes. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to go to 80 rodeos and make the finals. So at that time, I said, okay, I need to go as many as I can. Now, I kind of screwed myself because I thought that I forgot about the cap. So come July run, the Christmas July run, I was already at 80 rodeos. So I kind of lost track of how many rodeos I was entering throughout the winter and in the spring. And then I was like, oh, shoot, I got 40 rodeos left in 3 months of rodeo, and it's the busiest times of the year. Like, how am I going to do this? I still need to win $50,000 in 3 months and 40 rodeos. And at that time, I only had 50,001. So I was like, it took me 80 rodeos to win this. How am I going to do that amount of rodeos? And I don't know. I just sit down and talk with some people that kind of had some experience with trying to make the finals, and they're just like, just keep your head down, enter the ones you have to. And the guys that were traveling with me, I was a nervous wreck. I was probably terrible to travel with at the time, but I was just trying to go through the schedule and write down what rodeos I had to go to, and then I had write down, the most added money rodeos and all this stuff. And I mean, it come down to the last few rodeos. And then when I got done in New Mexico, that was my last rodeo after Extreme Bull Finals. I was out. I didn't have any more rodeos left, and I was like, dang it. And so I went home, sat at home the last 2 weeks of the rodeo season. I sat home for the 1 week, and then I was just bored sitting on the couch. So I went to counting my rodeos, and I just a rookie move. I didn't realize that it would show you how many rodeos you've been to. And when I was counting them one by one, I guess I was not including this rodeo. And so the last week of the rodeo season, I was like, oh shoot, I still got like 4 more rodeos I can go to.
Nice.
But all the rodeos, they were left entered. I was sitting in a house in Oklahoma, and that Omaha, Nebraska was up. So I was like 9 hours, and I drove up there, and I tried to walk up and get a bull. I ended up getting one, and I rode him, and then won some money there, and went to somewhere in Texas, down south, Mercedes, Texas, I think it was, and walked up and got a bull there, ended up bucking off there. But then went to Fort Smith and strapped one there and some other place. But it was crazy. I would it would have haunted me forever if I'd have found out that I had 4 rodeos left, and then I just decided to sit at home. So, and then I couldn't believe I was driving 9, 10, 11 hours just to walk up for a bull to try and get one.
Yeah.
So
And you
it
ended
was
up 15th.
16th. Yeah.
Now it was 15th, so correct?
What's that?
It was 16 at the end, but didn't it end up, shouldn't have it been 15? You should have been 15th. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, there was some money discrepancies, and should have ended up 15th, but they ended up taking 16 guys. But then after the finals was over, I ended up 14th in the world.
But they screwed up. That's why they took 16.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just a mistake by them.
I think it's bullcrap that they didn't make that change from the other side, because you definitely were 15 in the world.
That's why they did it.
But either way,
I understand why they did it.
The NFR, so you showed up.
Yeah. I was just happy to be there. That was my ultimate goal, is make the finals. So
yeah, I was talking to Denton. So Denton was saying that, like, for rookies, they can you hear me?
Yeah.
So for rookies, like, they do something like you have to do something. Denton had to wear like a wig and all of that stuff. How did that go down for you? Like, I didn't know this until Monday how that happened. I thought he was on his own.
After the first after the first round, we were all like, rookies have to make a bet. Whoever bucks off fastest, and then it goes down the line, and each person makes a bet what they're gonna do if they buck off, and I ended up having to shave my head after the round. So, but yeah, there was all kinds of wild bets. Reed had to dye his hair, and Trey had to put makeup on for the grand entry, and like his lips were like all red and stuff. Like, it was funny. So it's just fun, just trying to get the nerves out of you. And you're sitting in the locker room. It's just try to just have some fun. So, but yeah, I bucked off my first one and had to shave my head.
That's funny. That's hilarious. I didn't know that. Now, did anybody take into consideration, like, there's certain things you do that you'll be fined for? And, like, can you do stuff that's being fined, but everybody else has to pay that fine? Or is it just like, hey, you can do everything but anything that'll get you coming out, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just, over the last couple of years, my free arm, when I was coming off bulls, I tore all the tendons inside my elbow. So anytime I put any pressure on it, my elbow was just falling out. So I just ended up just getting a brace made from a guy out of Canada, and I've been wearing it, and it worked great. So I was able to.
Does it come out like while you're just working or anything, like at the house or anything?
No, it's never. It's just usually like when I'm coming off a bull and I try to catch myself, or you land different. It just comes out really easy now that it's been out so many times.
Is that the same elbow that me and you, when we had surgery, we both went
No, other one.
The other
one? Yeah. I've been yanked on pretty good. It's held up. So did a great job.
I started wearing a brace, and then I stopped wearing it, and I've never had one issue with my elbow.
Right. Yeah. No, I haven't had any issues with my elbow that I had surgery with. That's for sure. So I was kind of surprised it held up so well.
Man, you know, it's kind of crazy what, you know, you reach that top level and freaking riding as good as you've ever rode, and then that deal happened, just a freak deal, you know, at UTB. What event was that?
Albany, New York.
Albany. I knew it was in New York. Um, man, how's that physical therapy going? Like I know, I think about you often with all of that, and
It's going all right. Things are kind of slow. They um, took a nerve out of my leg and put it in my neck, and now they're kind of it's a waiting game to let the nerves reattach themselves, and then I got to kind of learn how to use my arm again. And so right now, they said after surgery, they said it should take 6 to 10 months before I start getting like feeling and motion back in my arm. Um, so that's kind of what we're waiting on. Once I start getting feeling and motion, then I'll be able to start hitting therapy a little harder. Right now in therapy, they're just keeping me like my shoulder loosened up and keep it moving. And um, I went to therapy the other day, and they said they could feel my bicep firing a little bit. So it's it's not much, but it's hopeful. I don't know how good my arm will come back or if it will. But it's just like I said, a waiting game. We're just kind of being
what,
patient about it.
is that your free arm? Is it your right arm?
My riding arm.
Your riding arm? Huh. Is that, you know,
Yeah.
as far as, you know, riding
Yeah.
again, like, is that a good thing or a bad thing as far as what that looks like?
Uh,
As far as what you
I think if I could get some mobility back, they said I probably wouldn't be able to get my hand up over my head, but I mean, if you ask me, it just needs to be in my rope. So I don't really care. But
definitely don't need it over your head.
yeah, so the doctors, they want to be, they don't want to give you high hopes. They want to cover their ass. So I think if I can get my hand working and get my nerves working again, that there's no stopping me. I think that I'll work as hard as I need to get up. But nerves, they kind of do their own thing. You just got to wait on them. So that's
Yeah.
kind of what we're doing. So,
That's a
but
crazy deal with the nerve stuff. Just because
yeah, I didn't even know they could do something like that. They 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 cut me from the back of my heel about halfway up my leg, and then took it out and stuck it in my neck. And I was like, I didn't know you could do that. So,
yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I just trying to heal up and just stay healthy, stay busy. Trying not to go crazy, sitting around the house too much.
You're going to rodeos still, watching some barrel racing, aren't you?
Yeah. My girlfriend races, and she's keeps me plenty busy. So we're always going to barrel races here and there, and jackpots and all kinds of stuff. So we live pretty close to several arenas.
Yeah.
So there's always something to go to. And shoot, she's got like 18 client horses out here now, and she's always got something to go to.
How's the mini
So
Australian Shepherd doing?
Cooper, he's not so many, but he's learning. He's learning what it is to be an outside dog. He gets hot, and then he'll go down and he'll sit in the pool and get wet, and then he goes in, like he'll go out in the yard and like roll around, and there's like these stickers in the yard, and he gets covered in them. So I get tired of like just cleaning them off of him. So I'm like, fine, you want to be dirty, then stay outside. He doesn't like
Yeah, I bet he misses the rodeo trail as much as anybody does.
I guarantee you, he just slept in the back of the van the whole time.
I will say
Yeah.
this. If I told Kelly, if we ever get a miniature dog, period, we're buying one fully grown.
Yeah, no surprises.
No
Uh,
surprises.
no, he's like 65 pounds.
He's
So
probably bigger than a regular size.
he probably is. Yeah. So he's something else. It's him barking. Oh,
Oh, that's awesome, man.
yeah.
I'll let you go, but dude, we'll do this again. I know when next time I'm up in Texas, I'll have to drive the van up there and we'll hang out.
Yeah, dude, I'm going like 25 minutes from the Coliseum in Fort Worth. So
Oh, heck yeah.
yeah, anytime y'all come down, y'all come over, or we can go over there and watch it and hang out and stuff. So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I plan on going up there this winter. So, and Kenny lives in Fort Worth now.
Good old Kenny.
Yeah.
What's he doing down here?
Oh man, he's been doing stuff with Western Edge, and he's like, man, I just can't, Key West, Florida is just not the place to be if you're dealing with rodeo stuff. So he's like, I need to move to, to Fort Worth. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
you're not wrong.
Yep. No, that's a good place to be. So,
All
right on. Well, we'll all have to get together.
right, heck yeah. What's your social media tags so everybody can kind of follow you? And
Yeah, my Facebook's just at Cole Fischer, professional bull rider. My Instagram is at Cole Fischer official, and so you can just kind of look them up and follow me.
what about your training program and this little the power washing deal you got?
Yeah, precision power washing. We're just down here in Texas. We've been doing a lot of coming and cleaning and power washing horse trailers. Like we've been doing some racing trailers, cleaning anything like that. Been able to take care of it. Like I said, we're kind of located, in Fort Worth, Decatur area. So, but like I said, just kind of keeping us busy like if you're needing some help with your bull riding, just give me a call. I can help you out, or I can send you to the right people. So we can get things figured out. I know, some people, they like to, it's kind of hard to ask for help. But don't let your pride hinder you from getting where you want to go, letting you reach your goals. So everybody needs help at some point, and there's always somebody that can help you. So might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah, heck yeah, guys, this is one of the best bull riders in the world. And there's not a better place to go than guys that have seen the lights of Vegas at the NFR. Been there, done that from every level. Man, I'll be praying for you guys. Be praying for Cole. Like, it's gotta suck just waiting, and that whole patient game is probably the worst thing for a bull rider. So
Yeah, I miss that adrenaline.
yeah, I guarantee it.
Hey, yeah. So, but right on, man. Well, this is fun. We'll do it again. Hopefully we'll have my arm working by then.
Yeah, heck yeah.
So.
Thanks for joining in, guys. We'll see.